Hi everybody, my name is Emily. I'm a faithful follower of Christ. I'm addicted to sugar, flour, and binging, and we have a fun day. My mom's coming in town. This will be on my October 11th. Is today the 11th? Today's the 12th. It'll be on my October 12th video tonight. We are about to go do our fun little trip to prepare for my mom. I talk about that in the video tonight. But I want to jump on here and make this. Susan. She goes by Susan on YouTube. She left me a comment the other day and I responded to her and I asked her if I had her blessing to share this conversation because I just think it's so important and I'm so encouraged by you all being willing to reach out and just express, not ingest, and say, here's where I am and I'm feeling lost, right? Ecclesiastes 4:9. That's why it's so lovely for us to be traveling together. And it's encouraging and reassuring for all of us to hear from each other and go, oh my gosh, that's so me. That's so me. That's so, we can just really relate to each other. So here's what Susan said to me. She left me a comment. She said, I've yet to have a bright day. I've backslid on cigarettes. I'm so disappointed and frustrated, but I still feel like I can do this. I just have to figure out how to deal with stress without food and cigarettes. That was her comment. Susan is in October. She's traveling with us. And Susan, I love that you shared that this whole time in October, you've yet to have a bright day. I love that you shared that because like I said in the beginning of all these, and I want to reiterate, this is not a commitment to have a perfectly bright month. This is not a commitment to have perfectly bright anything. This is a commitment to travel together. So it's a commitment to lean on each other and support each other and light each other's paths, shine some light, some encouragement, lift each other up. This is 0% finger wagging, no. None of us need that. We all know what all the no-no-nos are. We have been tangled up with plenty of them for a long time. And this is not about what all we know or don't know. This is truly about traveling together and supporting each other. And again, it just tickles me, Susan, that you would come on here and share that you're traveling with us and you've yet to have a bright day. Perfect. You know what? You're right where you're supposed to be. You're on your journey. God is with you. Here's my response to Susan. I said, oh, Susan. And since she goes by Susan, if I really wanted to say her name 3 times, I would have to say Susan. My response is this. We are so with you. In fact, I'm going to let you all see my response. Let's do it this way. Oh, Susan. We are so with you on this. A few things. You may not have had a bright day yet, but I'm sure you've had a bright meal. Let's celebrate the steps, however small they may be. The small steps are as important as the large ones. They help us change direction. That is a big deal. So build confidence by recognizing that you are making changes. Number 2, data. And not only data, but experience. It's beneficial to experience the grip. How else would we know we want it out of it? Number 3, you still feel like you can do this? Susan, you are doing this. And this is what this looks like. Messy and real. Number 4, I just have to figure out how to deal with stress without food and cigarettes. So I'm quoting Susan here. She said, I just have to figure out how to deal with stress without food and cigarettes. That's literally what we're all doing. Susan, that just tickled me when you wrote that because that's it right there. We're learning to walk again, learning how to function without turning to old crutches. I am so glad you left this comment. You did it. You expressed. Keep going. Even backwards is forwards on this journey. It's all data that we can analyze and learn from, and then reassess our strategies moving forward. Let's keep going together. And then Susan responded, "You're right, Emily. I have had lots of bright meals. Thank you, and thank you for these daily videos. You just don't know what they do for me." Susan, thanks again for sharing that. And you just said it right there in a nutshell. In a nutshell, that's what we're doing. We are relearning. Much after someone has had a stroke and they've got to relearn. Where we are in large part is because of learned behaviors. That can be very, very difficult because we learned them so naturally, without any effort, externally and internally. We had stuff going on internally and we turned to these behaviors for our own comfort, but we also learned them externally just from them being modeled by us. So we very naturally learned them. A lot became automatic. What we're doing right now together is changing trajectory, getting the ball rolling in another direction. I want you to imagine a boulder. What a feat, what a process to get it to slow down, stop, and then turn and get going in the other direction. You're at a place right now in your journey where it's slowing down and you're finding ways to make it stop. Others of us are you can look around and see so many people still headed in the wrong direction blindly without realizing. Us on this journey, we've at least had our eyes open to the reality of this addiction. Some of us have already gotten the boulder to turn and roll. I asked someone, I have a video about someone asking me about coaching or sponsoring, and I said, oh boy, I have, with very, very good intentions, set out to help other people when they asked me around town, and it got my lines wobbly because I was focused on their lines, and I am like a toddler learning to walk right now. So I might have gotten this boulder just barely, and I hesitate saying this because I just want to stay in the present moment, and certainly humble, but I might have just gotten this boulder rolling with a little bit, maybe rolling in the right direction. I'm not full steam ahead. It's not just full momentum. Maybe it never will be. Maybe my boulder will always just barely creep in the right direction. Amen. I'm okay with that. But you are right where you are, and that's a really good place to be. You are getting your boulder to come to a stop. You've got all sorts of behaviors that you're starting to notice and get frustrated with. But surrender, support, and strategy. You have those three things. I believe you do. Surrender, support, and strategy. So there was no question mark. You did not ask the $1 million question, but you said the $1 million statement, which is, I just have to figure out how to deal with stress without food and cigarettes. And I just cannot stress enough. That's what we're all doing. We're all doing it together. You're not alone in this. And like I said, you said, I feel like I can do this. You are doing this. We cannot change behaviors that we're not aware of, and you're becoming aware of these behaviors. Thanks again for reaching out. Thank you so much for your comment. I want you to reinforce, we starve and feed behaviors. The cigarettes, the food, the binging, it may or may not happen. It may or may not come. We want to put our focus on the behaviors that we want and reinforce those. So like I said, yes, there might be some cigarettes here or there, right? It's not what we want, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on what we want to do, not what we don't want to do. With parenting, we want to give our kids do's, not don'ts. We want to explain to them what we expect out of them and what we want them to do. If I went around here and told my kids, don't do this and don't do that and don't do this and don't do that, number one, they would not know what to do. But number two, I'd ironically and inadvertently be reinforcing all those things I don't want them to do by focusing on them so much. So we want to give ourselves direction and we want to tell ourselves what to do. So starve behaviors and feed behaviors. Let's starve some of that concern about the cigarettes and this and that. A friend of mine said, when will I ever quit smoking? I said, you'll quit smoking when you no longer need to. And I have talked much about crutches and how there's times in our lives where we needed them. Susan, you're getting to the point where you're not going to need them anymore. Focus on not the whole bright day or not the whole bright life, but the bright meals, the bright decisions. Use the tally system to take captive. I believe that's 1 Corinthians 10:15, 10:5. I'll put that below in the comments. Take captive those thoughts. Don't let the thought turn into action. I'm earning Franklin a reward right now, but I started thinking about it. I have earned, and I can tell you, here's some data. I have earned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 rewards. That's 585 times that I have redirected my thinking. 585 times since July or since August that I did not let the thought of sugar flour binging turn into an action. Use the tally system. It's all linked below the videos and the explanations underneath the October videos. Use the tally system to handle those moments of temptation. And use this program to tell yourself what to do. Use the support here. Surrender, have support, and have these strategies. You go, girl. Reinforce the behaviors you want to grow. Focus on those, however small they are. Celebrate, even if it's just a thought. Think, wow, I did it. I just had a bright meal. Let that start to string together. Not for a record of perfection, because my experience is that there will be times that the streak gets broken. But what happens is, it's like a child potty training, or someone working on a certain, explosive anger. If I was working with a child teaching special education, they might have an accident 5 times a day. Well, then they might go down to like 3 times a day, right? They're going like hours in between having an accident, right? Then they might go maybe just a couple accidents a week. Before you know it, it's like, a week or 10 days is going by, and you're thinking, wow, this kid's doing awesome. I don't remember the last time they had an accident. That will happen with your sobriety. The times of sobriety, they will get further apart. The times of breaking your boundaries will become fewer, less intense, or you know what, with this, my experience was for a while there during my relapse, they were very intense. But again, even going backwards is forwards, because I visited places I don't ever want to visit again, with my own mentality and depression, anxiety. No, I tell people we don't have to hit rock bottom. We just have to get to the point where we don't ever want to go there again. So trust me when I say, you stay focused on what the behaviors you want to grow. And I really believe you'll start to see the ones that you don't want fade away. They might pop up here and there. And they will be indicators. It'll be data that something in your program needs a little tweaking. This is an active problem that requires an active solution. We must stay engaged with our hands on the wheel, because human beings in general, and especially us that are addicted to substances, we're like vehicles and our wheels need to be realigned. So if we let go of the wheel, without fail, invariably we will veer off. Keep your hands on the wheel. Keep going. You're moving forward. I promise you. And you are not alone. Thanks again, Susan. I love you. That's it. We'll talk again soon.